This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West podcast with your hosts, Brandon Cook, Nick Harrington, and Travis Bosch.
So the Griffins have now won 6 games in a row. For the 6th straight Olympics, a former Griffin has won a medal. And for the 3rd straight Olympic Games, they've won gold. Pretty darn good week when you're talking about Grand Rapids Griffins hockey. So welcome back to the Hockeytown West podcast, your source for everything Grand Rapids Griffins and Toledo Walleye hockey. I'm back with just Nick, as Travis is still on nights for another week. Hopefully we can get him back into the Grand Rapids world at some point. But Nick, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Not only Grand Rapids doing well in hockey for like Olympics and things like that, but the state of Michigan, right?
Yeah.
The state of Michigan is a huge week for us. But I'm good. A little tired, but we're a little technologically challenged. I don't know what that word is, but we're going to make up words like Bob did this week on the broadcast. But yeah, doing all right. How about you, buddy? How are you doing? You got a night off?
I did. You were kind enough to give me a night off from covering a game, and that night was actually a whole bunch of chaos, but it was good. It's good. I'm good. Gearing up for a trip to Disney World next week to see my sister, who's been down there since last August. So
Is she trapped?
Yeah, the mouse has her trapped, bro. Like, for
Makes
real.
sense.
No, she works down there in the college program. Super cool thing for her. She's loving it. I'm excited to go because, one, her being there comes with free tickets. So, duh, why wouldn't I go? Second is it's going to be a good time, and the weather right now is like 78 degrees and sunny as it's forecasted. Every day I'm there, it's going to be beautiful.
Glad you waited till after, because your initial plan was to go right after the All-Star game, like leave from Chicago. So I'm glad you booked it out a little bit further. But just remember, I did want you to ask Mickey while you're down there if he was a heated rivalry fan.
But yes, I will make sure to ask that just for you, buddy. I will throw that out there just for you. Oh, God. Well, we talked about it in the open there. The Olympics just wrapped up. Congratulations to both the women's and U.S. men's teams. Oh, my God. It's unreal to think that we're talking about gold in both women's hockey and men's, especially on the men's side, obviously, because it's been so long. The women's team was just pure dominance, though. Like, yes, the U.S. men winning it is impressive, but looking over at those women over there, like that, a 5-game shutout streak, basically, that they had going. Absolutely absurd numbers. Michigan native scoring the OT winner. Like, it was just perfect. So beyond happy for them. Those were some of the most fun games to watch. And you could truly see like the PWHL is doing great things because the gap to Canada and US, it's closing. Some of those other nations teams are starting to catch up there and get better and better. And that's such an exciting thing when it comes to women's hockey.
Yeah, I mean, some would say that we're a little bit further from the gap now, right? Because we've surpassed Canada in those.
The women's teams had Canada's number for a couple Olympics now, but at the same time, just seeing like the overall product level, I guess, of the women's competition this year, it was so good. The games were so intense. All the games were very watchable and enjoyable, and the intensity of that gold medal game and even the bronze medal game, it was fantastic. So that's some of the better hockey I got to watch during that gap because we didn't get an Olympic break. So I didn't get to watch every men's game like Travis, who was blessed with nights during that time. And he was up at 4 a.m. to start watching these games half the time. Psychopath. But even on the men's side, though, unreal performance from Dylan Larkin. Obviously, we said former Griffin winning gold. A lot of people forget that Larkin did play some games in Grand Rapids during a playoff run after he was done at U of M. So he is technically a Griffin that's won a medal again. So congrats to him. But I don't know about you, dude. I cannot wait to watch playoff Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say this on the record or not, but you know my thoughts on Larks, right? Like he was not one of my favorite captains. He was not one of my favorite players. He doesn't make me excited, right? Like Steve Yzerman, like Nick Lidstrom, those guys were they were just good captains, right? Like just guys that really had your respect. And I just didn't have that yet from Larkin, right? I was like, all right, I think he's proved enough to me that I might buy the jersey now. I might buy the jersey. He is a man of the people. Seeing him like with the Gaudreau family and like bringing them out on the ice, that was huge to me. Continue to honor Johnny's legacy. Like that was huge. He was one of the better guys out there on the ice too. Definitely earned a lot of points in my book. I know I don't my book doesn't mean a whole lot, but definitely started to come around on the guy a little bit more, and definitely excited to see playoff Dylan Larkin, right? Like him celebrating and everything too in the locker room. Like he was just so happy. You just hadn't seen that. And I'm just glad to see him finally having some joy, right? Like I just feel like this Red Wings team this year is like very business like I mean, we see it here on the Griffins side too. It's just very serious, very down to the business. Like this game, we're not looking forward. They're not partying or doing anything crazy, but they win a gold, and he deserves to get a little crazy.
Oh yeah, no, he had a good time partying there. I mean, even had a Ruzioni up on his shoulders at one point after the game. Like, there's a party animal in Dylan Larkin. We just haven't had the chance to see it yet. But yeah, dude, his play on the ice, it was elevated to a new level. You saw him get bumped up the lineup too as the games went on. And not even that, like obviously he wasn't wearing a letter at the tournament, which based on his Four Nations performance, I would have questioned why maybe he didn't have an A at the tournament, but I'm not the decision maker on that, but I think there's some out there that agree. But he had all the tough press conferences all throughout the Olympics too, handled those like a pro. And yeah, dude, it's just really exciting to see that work out for him to be an Olympic champion like that, Olympic gold medalist. And you just hope he can take that energy back into Detroit and get through the scary month that comes up on the calendar for Red Wings fans. The month of March is a terrifying month for us. We know what it usually brings. Let's hope this March doesn't bring that. And yeah, just watch Larks go into the playoffs, man. He's a different animal in those elimination games.
What was your favorite part of the Olympics?
Oh, buddy, that's a tough one because I did get to catch a lot of the other events outside of hockey, which was nice. Like, obviously, I love curling. Curling is great. If you don't like curling, you're crazy or just don't understand it. Once you understand it, it's absolutely thrilling.
I can't believe they got away with cheating still, though, the Canadians. Like, after all that, like, I still can't believe that, but...
Oh, man. The memes after that are the best thing in the world. My favorite part, though, I mean, it's got to be Zach and Dylan going to get Johnny's kids, bringing them on the ice for that. Like, that right there, I don't think there was a dry eye watching that celebration at that point in time. That was absolutely beautiful, and Zach Werenski's going to make a great Red Wing one day.
Yeah, he definitely will.
So will the Hughes brothers. So we're just going to get all Larkin's friends that he made at the Olympics at this point.
Hope so. I hate that you went with such a serious moment because I had actually a funny one. Is the
Brady bring Tkachuk, it on, bring up the mood.
The Tkachuk brothers and all of the memes that were created based off of how they were as illiterate or just the memes making fun of the Tkachuk brothers, I thought were absolutely hilarious. There was one with Tkachuk with pictures of the Canadians, and it was like a selfie, and they're like, that's the one where it looks like somebody's thumb got stuck on the camera. Or that Tkachuk ate his gold medal because he thought it was gold. It was chocolate. Just those ones just had me cracking up the entire time seeing them.
I'll always take something to make fun of the Tkachuk brothers. I can't stand them. Obviously, if they were on our own team, maybe feel a little different. But when they're not on your team, you can't stand them. But those were hilarious. The memes on Austin Matthews' hairline too, like, are always top tier. But hey, Austin Matthews won something.
Yeah.
He's demanding a trade to an American team next, guaranteed.
They said they built this team with guys that drink whiskey, not milk. So I think I thought there was a hidden shot there, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe somebody else could help me out there. But because Toronto.
Yeah.
So
you don't need to explain it to me. No.
Look confused for a second.
It was a good Olympics. And, you also got to point out, too, with the Olympics, obviously with the Grand Rapids Griffins, and this is a Grand Rapids Griffins podcast, Eddie Tralmaks, man, he had a fantastic performance out at the Olympics there. And, I was reading the stats that the Griffins were nice enough to send over, and at least one Griffin has been loaned to his country, his national team, for the last six of the last 7 Olympics.
Six of the last seven.
Don't. Of those 7 players, Tralmaks was by far the most productive on the world stage, equaling the goal total of the other 6 combined.
Wow.
He had 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points in 4 games, so a point per game player at the Olympic level. That's in comparison to players like Nicholas Kronwall, Thomas Yurko, an Abdicator. Those are some names to be compared with there. And obviously, like, Kronwall's was the 2006 Olympics, Yurko was the 2014 ones, Abdicator was 2022. That's later in his career, obviously, when he came back to Grand Rapids for a couple of games to get Olympic ready, if you remember that fun storyline. But insanely productive performance from Tralmaks.
Yeah, did he have more points than Lucas Raymond?
No, he did not.
But he was close. I mean, it was
No, Lucas, at the time when he exited the tournament, he was 2 points behind Lucas, but then Lucas popped off for the next couple games there. So obviously he pulled away. At the time that he exited the tournament, he had the most goals out of any Red Wing in the organization, and he was second in points. So absolutely insane.
glad this guy is getting his flowers. There was a lot of recognition from him from Red Wings fans on, Twitter and Discord and Reddit and all else where everybody else posts. And I'm like, I've been watching this guy all year. Like, this guy's the real deal. And he's only elevated the two guys he's been playing with this year, too. And they still took off while he was gone. So happy for Tralmaks. I hope it continues, right?
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of eyes on him suddenly after this performance, right? And not that the eyes weren't there already. I mean, obviously, when you look at his production in Grand Rapids this season, even with disappearing to the Olympics for a few weeks, he's still fourth in the team in goals and sixth on the team in points. Like, that's pretty darn impressive. So I think people now know who he is. Not if you didn't before, you do now. You don't know him as well as we do, Mr. Blueberry King, but at the same time, I couldn't be happier for him. I'm happy that he appears to have stayed there longer through the rest of the tournament, too. Obviously, he wasn't there for the opening ceremonies. That was the weekend that he was still playing with the Griffins. He played Friday and then left Saturday. The ceremonies had already happened. So I hope he stayed all the way through just to get to experience that. We can't wait to catch up with him when he's back in Grand Rapids. I'm sure there'll be media availability for that, so we don't all have to ask him the same questions 60 times.
Yeah. That's okay.
I mean, sure. He's also one that, obviously one day we'd love to get on the show to be able to dive into those deeper too. So hopefully we can get that accomplished before the season ends as we get closer and closer to the season coming to an end here, as there's basically only 2 months left in the regular season. So outside of that, though, no other Olympic updates to talk about. But again, congrats to everybody that was, a part of it, not just the winners. Just being an Olympian itself is an accomplishment. So congratulations to all of them. But man, being a winner in both hockey for women's and men's feels pretty darn good. Congrats again. Moving into some news and updates around the Griffins. Obviously, during the Olympic break, there's been call-ups and send-downs between Detroit and Grand Rapids. We're not going to break up every single one for you, but if you missed why those happened, it's because Detroit needed bodies for practice. They got guys up there. Shine went up, Dries went up, Austin Watson went up. They've gone back and forth. And as some people would look at that and go, man, that's grueling, but they get to go collect an NHL paycheck for a day. And who's going to turn down the invitation to go, skate with Patrick Kane at practice, right? Not many people. So I'm sure they enjoyed their time doing that on the off days for Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and they got mileage too, right? They got to play with
You would assume so.
And, it's, not and it didn't interrupt our schedule at all, or our week. The guys still did.
It couldn't have. Thank God it didn't, right? We'll talk about injuries and everything throughout this week and how low the Griffins lineup was getting there at a point. And I will say, as of recording this today, which is Monday the 23rd, both Shine and Dries were called up today. They have not been sent back down yet today. I'm assuming that would come tomorrow before, we have a game on Wednesday at home again, because I don't think we can miss those two in the lineup. But obviously the Red Wings resume play Wednesday as well. So hopefully everybody's back and not hungover looking at you, Larks, and ready to play hockey. Outside of that, no other news and updates. There's other updates that happened over the week, but we'll talk about them kind of as they happen throughout the week, instead of starting to talk about them, then starting to talk about games and saying half our points about the games before we even get there. So we're going to dive into Wednesday's game. We're going back to last Wednesday against the Cleveland Monsters at home. This was game number 3 or 4 in a row at home. I can't keep track. It's been so many home games this month, which is a beautiful thing to see. And the Monsters come to town, and you look at how the Griffins have played with them this season already. Every game's been a battle. They've been close games. Cleveland scored first a lot of the time, and we didn't really know what to expect going into this one, because the Monsters have suddenly kind of turned around their season and are back to being contenders in their division. Well, the Griffins come out of this game with a nice 3-2 win. And the way they did it was just a full-on gritty battle with these guys. Like, I don't know how to continue to describe these close games like this other than battles. We talk about the Milwaukee games being battles, but it seems like a lot of these games between a lot of opponents in and out of the division are just turning into these tough battles. And when you look at it, obviously, like, right, the Griffins are missing their leading scorer. They missed him for 9-10 games throughout this week. John Leonard's still being out. Griffins rolling 11-7 in all these games because they don't have enough healthy forwards. So In this one, you had Shine, Dries, and MBN, the goal scorers. I want to point out a couple of stats here for you, and we'll talk about a couple of the goals. Dominic Shine's goal, his 21st of the season, and that was 6 points in the last 3 games at that point. But then he adds an assist later on, so 7 points in 3 games for Shiner. Absolutely insane numbers, but the goal itself was even better.
Yeah, I mean, this goal is typical Dom Shine, right? He's just going, and this is his old self, right? Is you think of him going to the net, driving to the net, just pushing it past the goalie, gets it started in the first minute of the game. I mean, that's the way to set the tone. So when Shine is in the lineup, because they've had to sit him because of the veteran rule, Grand Rapids is 32-2. Without Dominic Shine in the lineup, they're 7-5-0-1. This was at this point in Cleveland for that game.
That's insane to think about. Like, obviously, one guy doesn't make a team, but dang, what an impact he makes in this lineup, right?
I mean, we were thinking this the other day, like a couple of weeks ago. We're like, they got to be almost undefeated when he's in the lineup. Like, they have literally won every game. And I'm glad Bob brought this up because I was not going to go through every game to see which one Shine had played and which one he had not. But 32-2, like we said, this team plays differently when he's in the lineup. Like, he went out and he set the tone, and he has been on such a hot streak after the All-Star break. Like, I don't know what it was, if like it just because they've had the veteran rule, he's had to sit out some games, and now he's like in a good rhythm and he's in a good flow. I don't know what it is, but this guy has just been on fire up until Friday. I think Friday.
Yeah, 100% up until Friday. He's been on fire. He went pointless in the next 2 games, but when you put up 7 points in 3 games, you're allowed to do that, and you're also the captain of the team. No one's going to question you on it. But scoring that goal just over a minute into the game to start this off, and right at that point, it was like, oh, okay, I'm used to Cleveland scoring first against us. That's usually how this goes. The Griffins, for some reason in this one, just looked different against Cleveland. They looked more aggressive. They looked like they were ready to put up a fight. And I'll give Cleveland all the credit in the world. They fought so hard in this game. When you look at it too, you go to the game-winning goal, which ends up being MBN's. This goal right here, absolutely insane. Rakowski makes a great play to get the puck over to Becker. Becker could just throw it towards the net, but he sees MBN kind of calling for it, gets it to MBN, who literally just turns, and with his beautiful shot that seems to get better and better every game, which I didn't think was possible, he fires this far side on the goaltender where it could have easily went wide, but he found a sliver of space to get in there and beats Fedotov.
Oh my gosh, when I saw this goal, I was just like, holy crap, what a snipe from this guy. Just like, this is what you want from this rookie, right? Like, he's making his case, he's developing, he's playing well. I think he may lead the team right now on game-winning goals still.
He probably does, honestly. I wouldn't doubt that. It would be nice if that was just an easy stat to pull on AHL.com, but of course, it's not.
I'm conflicted because I feel like maybe Ammo might have it. Because
you know what? After this weekend, You might be right.
So
but yeah, like MBN went through a stretch there where we were all kind of left scratching our heads, right? He was bad defensively. He was missing passes constantly. He was shooting wide constantly. He just didn't look like himself. And then all of a sudden, these past few games leading up to this one, it's like, oh, that's the MBN we expect. The heavy hitter, go out there, piss the other team off, cause chaos, but also unleashes that ridiculous shot. And I saw the other angle from like behind Becker on that play that the Griffins shared. Oh my, it was nasty.
It was sick. I mean, the guy's been hitting. I mean, we don't want to take that away from him. MBN has been hitting, and we might need to reach out to our source to get some updated stats on his on the hits for the season. But
has he broken 100 yet? I bet you he has.
I think at this point he has to. Like, the guy has just been playing so well, and he did need this season. He needed this season down here in GR. He should have started down here, and this probably is his last season here. Like, he deserves to call up at this point. He's been playing so well, and playoff time, man. This guy.
This guy in AHL playoffs is going to be Captain Clutch, dude. I can already feel it. When you're going to need a goal, you're going to be able to look down the bench and look at John Leonard or MBN and say, go get that goal. And they're going to do it. And it's going to be just absolute electric factory in Van Andel when either of those two get the game-winning goal anytime, because you can feel it coming. Obviously, the other guy that had some game winners this weekend might have something to say about what I just said there with his little streak of game winners. But dude, MBN's been great. I'm really excited to just continue to watch this kid develop. And once he gets back to the NHL and gets used to it, it doesn't just get thrown right in, got some time under his belt to go out there, he's going to be a star. I'm going to say it now. He's going to be a star in that league, whether it's a star known for his shot or known for just absolutely crushing the opponent.
Remember when we started this, we used to look to Pontus Andreasson for those clutch goals.
That was all right. All right, you're going to take me down a dark path there, buddy.
And now we've got a guy that's actually like a guy that can do it. It has the tools, it has the development, that has the potential to be able to do it. And it's going to be electric as soon as we clinch
this week. That was Nick's best Chris Collinsworth impression right there, 100%. All right. Outside of just those two guys in this game, obviously, like we said, the Griffins won this, and you got to have a goaltender that can stop pucks in this one. Busso went 22 for 24 in this one, but it wasn't just the amount of saves, because obviously that's not a groundbreaking night. That's just a typical night for a goaltender. It was the types of saves he was making. He was rock solid all night when they needed him to be. The first goal from Sillinger, he probably wants back, but it was also a power play goal. But we just know the competitor Cossa is. He's going to want that goal back. The last goal by Gaunce to get it in a 1-goal game again, bad defensive play. Just bad defensive play by the Griffins. Nothing Cossa could do on that one. Sucks for him, but at the same time, just another outstanding outing from Cossa in this one. Not much more to say to it besides that it was another great night.
Yeah, I don't really blame him for the Sillinger one, to be honest with you. Like, that puck was slippery. It went through a couple people before it got to Sillinger, and it was just a bad, like, right place, right time for him to be there.
Bad defense on that one too, honestly.
Yeah, they just couldn't they couldn't control the puck at that point, and it is what it is. But
I think what stands out to me in what's that?
I said we win, we move on, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. And I don't think, like, I say this game was a battle. This game could have not been a battle. It could have been an easy win for the Griffins, but they came out hot. Cleveland responded, and the Griffins just kind of got sloppier as the game went on, which isn't something we're used to saying. You look at this team in the third period, they usually just lock it down when they have a lead. But it did get sloppy. It did get disjointed, but they were still able to hold on and win, so we won't complain about that for too long. But it was interesting to see, and I don't know if that's just because Cleveland took it up another gear in post-game interviews. They all admitted that is a tough opponent over there. So I don't know. The other thing that frustrated me in this game was officiating. Yep, it's time for a good old-fashioned Brandon officiating rant. Dude, the first period, the first two calls of the game, I looked at MBN's tripping call and I go, okay, the boards are in front of where the guy got tripped. I can't see that. So I can't say, yes, he tripped him. No, he didn't. But it looked like he hit him from behind, not likely. But it looked like it was just a hit and the guy fell down and MBN got called for tripping. And then Rakowski gets called for interference in front of the net with the guy draped all over him, and he kind of just shrugs him off. The guy doesn't fall down or anything, but all of a sudden Rakowski's going to the box for interference. And I'm like, that's not interference. I looked at our friend Elaine and I go, is that interference? Replayed it for her. She goes, where's the interference? Is it in the room with us today? It's not. You fast forward to the next penalty, because the Griffins had 3 consecutive penalties at this point, and Carson Bansel gets an unsportsmanlike conduct. And this one confused the hell out of me, because he's going in along the boards, gets taken down, and as he gets taken down, the ref's hand goes up. This play not only confused us, it confused everybody, thinking the Griffins were going on a power play, and all of a sudden it's Bance going to the box for an unsportsmanlike. Like, did he say something about someone's mother when he went down? I don't know. But again, it's just one of those unsportsmanlikes against a Griffin where you're just like, because they spoke, they're going to the box. What did he do? Or were they trying to call it embellishment, diving? Call it that. Don't call it a misconduct.
The lot of the calls this year have been very vague, right? Just
vague or one-sided.
Vague and one-sided. It's been very interesting. I'm going to break it down to you later in the episode as well for the last 5 games. But it's uncharacteristic of the Griffins is to have as many penalties as they did, and that they've been getting, right? I think they are still one of the least, well, they should still be one of the least penalized teams in the league. At least
23rd most. So yeah,
that's
jumped
down
up
a lot. That's jumped
up
a lot.
They used to be like 29th, 30th.
Yeah. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on in the last few weeks. I'm not sure if I don't think it's a play style, and I know it's one player we could talk about. It's something to keep an eye on, and I know others are as well.
Yeah, it's something. It's very frustrating to when you watch the game because you're sitting here just going like, why is that player getting sent to the box? Like if it's just a tussle between the two of them, send them both. We saw that, against the Stars last weekend. Shine and I don't remember who it was. Were going at it with each other. He just said, nope, they threw them both in the box. We're good. We don't want any shenanigans. That's how they handled it. This game and Friday's game, I was just like, what are we doing?
The good thing, though, to combat it is that we have a really good penalty kill. So
we have a stellar penalty kill, man. And thank God for them in games like this because the rants would be much more loud from me.
Because in the past we didn't, right? Like it was an okay penalty kill, but we would lose the game that way. Like a bad call here, a bad call this way, and then the energy shifts and the momentum shifts. And so I do want to say, like the team, we are taking a little bit more penalties. Some of them have been at the last minute or 2 minutes of the game, so it does inflate the numbers a little bit. But at the end of the day, Wadi's done a great job of keeping the emotion and the control of this team, where it doesn't get too one-sided or the ice doesn't tilt to one side or the other based off of these penalties. So
took the words right out of my mouth.
It's like I had them prepped from the note. I didn't.
No, I know. No, I mean, it is good to see that that's the style that they're playing, right? They're not letting these calls get to them. They're not making it more emotional. They're just going out there and, all right, we're going to kill this penalty and carry on. You wish they could get a couple shorties like Toledo, right? But at the same time, we'll take what we can get. The only other storyline from this one was a penalty that was called at the end of the second period on Caleb McDonald from the Monsters, who kind of ran into Cossa a little bit there. It looked questionable, then didn't look questionable. I don't know. I'm not going to sit there and say he did it maliciously. What I did love about that play was the immediate response from Nate Danielson, who was standing in the slot in front of Cossa, or in front of the Griffins net, I should say, because Cossa was off to the side. And immediately as that guy came around, Nate beelined straight for him there. And the other thing you'll notice from the clip too is like Shine comes in late, doesn't join the scrum or anything like that. It's just kind of like Shine standing there being a proud dad, watching all these kids grow up and go defend their goalie. It was pretty funny to watch. But again, good on Nate for going out there and sticking up for his goalie, whether it was malicious or not. I don't know. You be the judge. You can find the clip on our social pages. From that, though, we'll move on to Friday night's game. And going into this one, there was a weird thing that happened, right? We had Jackson Judding out of Kansas City in the ECHL get signed by the Griffins to a PTO. So it's not a Toledo PTO, which Toledo fans were thankful for because the last two have gone overseas after playing with the Griffins. So Judding comes in, really strong year so far in Kansas City. This is his first year playing pro hockey. Really strong year in Kansas City for Judding as well. 22 goals, 23 assists in 48 games played over there. Kansas City Mavericks are the top team in that division. They're kind of a wagon, and he's a big part of that. So he comes into Grand Rapids. We didn't know why. Like my first reaction was, is Waddy sick of running 11-7? Like, we're going to sign a guy, bring him in and see what happens. And I get to the game that night, look at the lineup sheet and go, oh, there's a piece missing here. And it was Nate Danielson. And the hockey world freaked the hell out about Nate Danielson missing from the lineup. And to be fair, I will agree with that for a point because he was only mentioned on the injured list once throughout the broadcast. If you missed it, you missed it. And you're like, why is Nate out for a game? That's weird. And you look at the second night too, he was out for the next night too. He got injured. We don't know how long-term it is. He was getting testing done today, Monday. Hopefully it's not long-term. We did see after today that Judding was also released from his PTO. So maybe that is a positive sign, but that was why. I know it's trade deadline season. Everyone immediately was like, what's happening? He got hurt, folks. Calm down. It was the Olympic roster freeze. He probably could have been traded anyways during that time.
Yeah, it's the Twitter world was definitely on fire. And I mean, we knew you guys were at the game Friday, so you guys were there. We were able to observe a little bit more, talk with some more people. I was listening to the broadcast, and I'm just like, usually there's a pregame. Usually Bob does his announcements. Nothing. I really listened to the game. I don't I really listened to the game. I didn't hear it at all. It was very briefly mentioned. It was very strange that it was mentioned the way it was. And I don't know how you found it the next day, but just very odd. And then I thought when we first signed this guy, Jackson Judding, I thought it was because of Leonard, right? Hey, Leonard's going to take a little bit more time and we're going to get this guy. It's funny that we get somebody from Kansas City who's been, Kansas City's been a very good team for the last couple of years. If you follow us on the Toledo show, like this has always been the matchup in the semifinals to go to the finals. And, they're a good team. I'm surprised that this is his first year. Like when you said that, I was like, whoa. I didn't do a whole lot of research because I didn't know how long this guy was going to stick around. But he played really well. In this game, he had a good chance right away. And I'm glad that we took somebody outside of Toledo, right? It shows that we have scouts that are looking in the E and other teams. And take one from the competition, I thought was kind of funny. I don't know if he's returning to Kansas City or if he's got a plane ticket, overseas to go play. But
he's back in Kansas City.
Okay. He was good fill-in and happy with the results, right? The whole scenario was just kind of wild and but I think he got to like an hour and a half before the game too, I think is what Bob said.
Yeah, something super crazy like that. He fit right in. For a while, I was like, I didn't notice him, which isn't always a bad thing when you're watching hockey and you throw a guy into the lineup straight out of the coast. You're like, oh, he had a turnover or he did something stupid or he took a penalty. I didn't notice him because he was doing his job and did it well. Did it well enough to fit right in the AHL, fit right in with the Griffins. Very happy with that, It's good to see that, okay, maybe if we need somebody in the future, God forbid, that we could just maybe snatch this guy back up.
Kind of wish we signed him, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wish we would have kept him a little bit longer, 10-day PTO. We kept him for, 3 days? Like, I wish, you want depth, right? Especially coming up to playoff time. I say playoff time.
I'm not having the depth conversation tonight. No, you're not sucking me into this one.
We lost Moya, we lost Hilly. This guy would have been a great addition, I think, to be able to bring in and to help.
Small sample size, so maybe, maybe
fine.
not. Who knows? So enough about all the other stuff. Let's dive into the actual game. You got the Chicago Wolves in town on a Friday night in Grand Rapids. A great crowd on hand, and if you followed us throughout the season and followed the Griffins, you know that every game against the Wolves has been a close game. Like 3 of them had already gone to a shootout. Luckily, most of them in the Griffins' favor, except for one. The Wolves were one of the first teams to hand the Griffins a loss. So you go into this going, all right, probably another close game. Get ready for a late night. You're probably getting a shootout. Well, we didn't get a shootout, but we got overtime. Griffins end up winning this one 2-1 in overtime. MBN scored the first goal of the game for the Griffins. Another great goal from him. Great play to kick it off. But the guy that I think we've got to talk about in this one is a guy who ends up taking a puck to the face midway through the second period, and it's Amadeus Lombardi. He takes this puck to the face, goes down, and we all immediately freak the heck out because you're like, no, we just got him back. No, please don't be like a long-term deal. What's going on? He gets up, shakes it off. Griffins are on a power play at this point. He goes, no, I'm going to stay on the ice, which he can't do. You went down, injury timeout, you got to get off the ice, and he was upset about that. But this kid tried to stay on the ice, dude.
What a dog, right? Like, it just shows. He said, too, in the postgame, he's like, anybody else that did the same thing while he was out there. He's had a crazy, week, a crazy month. But yeah, just to come out and then, to lead up to I don't want to put too much out there, but to lead up to the goal, like just absolutely crazy. And this is, maybe the spark maybe this was the spark he needed, right? He hit in the face. I don't know. Sorry, Amo.
Yeah, right. You never know what it takes. But as you said, yeah, he ends up getting the game winner in overtime with a move that I don't think he was trying to do. We didn't ask if that's what he was planning to do. But hey, the puck found the back of the net. You don't ask how, you ask how many. And boy, just the excitement on his face after that. When you go through a game like that, we spoke to him post game, which I felt so bad because we looked at the Griffins when they asked us who you want to talk to, and game's tied. We don't know what's going to happen. We picked MBN. We had one of the coaches, and I go, whoever scores the game winner, we'll get that. Mind you, we've talked to Ammo 2 games in a row before this already after a game. Well, he scores the game winner, gets to talk to us again with his face is literally swelling up as the interview goes on. But he was a good sport about it. Great post-game interview. And just the passion he has for the sport, this team, how much he loves this team, and just how great that moment felt for him. And God, the arena loved it. That place was loud after he scored that goal. When you look at, just the game overall, just an absolute battle again with the Wolves. But Michael Postava, we have to talk about him in this one. because you look at the shots on goal. Wolves outshot the Griffins by 10. They had 32 shots on goal. We had 22. And Posty goes 31 for 32 in this game with some unreal saves throughout.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the shot totals for each period, and Chicago outshoots us 10-6, 12-9, 8-5, 2-2 in overtime. Like, just huge shot differential, which has been the theme all season, right? And it's something I had noticed in the beginning of the season, but it doesn't matter the shot volume; it's where they're coming from. And Posty has been able to do such a great job, right? This is the team that knocked him out at the beginning of the season for a little bit, and he comes back and he responds, right? You've got to have this goaltending tandem right now. Just a .940 save percentage is just absolutely insane. The defense is doing well. The forwards are playing defense as well. The goalies are stepping up, right? It's just Posty is doing Posty things, and we can continue to ride it. It's not a trend. It's not a this week he's doing well, and next week it's like it's going to continue. You don't see a regression coming here with Posty.
No, he's continued to get better and better as the season's gone on, and it's so impressive to see this goalie, come out of the Czech leagues, and you're like, who is this guy? And he comes in and gets hurt a few games in, and you're like, oh man, he was doing so well. Hopefully, you don't see a regression here. No, kid comes in and just keeps doing what he's doing, and his numbers so far this season are absolutely insane when you look at it. When you look at goalies in the American League, he doesn't show up because he's not under the qualified goalies just yet with the amount of games played. I mean, this season he's got a 1.70 goals against and a .939 save percentage. If you put all the Griffins goaltenders in there that are unqualified, he's second. Guylander's still first. But at the same time, it's insane. It's insane to think about. Like, I know when we looked at it at the All-Star break, I'm like, man, I wish he was qualified because we'd have like two of the top 5 goalies in the entire league at this point. It's so stupid insane how good he's been. So impressed with him, and I just love his attitude in that. He just does his job, does not care, and just has fun out there and stops pucks. And that's all we need him to continue to do. So another solid game from him, another good win for the Griffins. You love coming off an out-of-division win against Cleveland in a close game. You get this game. Yes, you give Chicago a point. Oh, well, I think the separation between the two of us is good enough for right now. But it's a nice win, fun time, good game. Officials sucked at it again, but I won't go on a rant. With that, we're going to hit a quick ad break. When we come back, we got one more game to talk about, another thriller in overtime to talk about. We'll give you a quick breakdown of the Griffins' last 5-game segment because they just finished that up. We'll give you our 3 stars of the week and an AHL standings update.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props, live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. Currently, the NHL is on an Olympic break, but right now you can bet a plus 10,000 for Moritz Seider to win the Norris Trophy or plus 3,500 for John Gibson to win the Vezina. Pretty good odds there for our guys. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Blue Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026 Yzer.
And welcome back. All right, we got one more game to talk about as the Griffins wrapped up their game at home in Chicago. They get on a bus and head over to Milwaukee the next day for a game. What a stupid schedule. That just sucks. And you look at that game also, the night before going to overtime, you're like, oh, you played a little extra. You got this long bus trip ahead. What's the game going to bring us? Well, it brought us to another overtime victory, thanks to Amadeus Lombardi, who had 3 points in this game alone. The Griffins win this one 4-3 in overtime. Cossa stops 22 of 25. And again, just Lombardi, the day after taking a puck to the face, is the OT hero in back-to-back nights. So, Nick, the first thing we're going to talk about with this one, because I know you watched this game, you gave me the night off. I've looked at the highlights, looked at the stats. Ammo, though, in this game. You look at his goals. Both goals are sick, especially when you look at the OT goal as he's getting hacked at by Zach LaRue. which, as if you listened to us before when we talked about Milwaukee, we know we can't stand him. He's basically like the Brad Marchand of this league at this point. But you look at that play, and it's kind of instant karma.
I mean, the kid bounces back. What a way to bounce back from getting hit in the face with a puck, right? Having a double chin, right? So something that the guys all made fun of him about. I feel bad, but when he did get hit the other night, I was like, oh, maybe now he's got the hockey teeth now, right?
Well, he kept all his teeth at least. So
He did keep all his teeth, which I was happy about. But I mean, he played such a great game in this one. I mean, the first goal that the Griffins get, Doucette battles this out on the boards. He gets it to Amo. Amo has a shot, and he passes it over to Doucette, who buries it. So he gets the first assist on the first goal, which just had the first goal. He had the game-winning goal the night before, gets assist on the next goal. He gets the next goal in the third period as well. Who gets the assist on that one is also Doucette. You got to give the guy a little bit of flowers here. That goal, great pass from Watson. He gets a great pass from Watson. It's cross-ice play. He slips past the defender, and then slips it past the goalie. There's three times now he's part of the goal or getting the team ahead, right? At this point, they tie it. And then, Raklovsky gets this goal, and then we go into overtime. And like you said, he gets hacked from LaRue 3 times on here. We're screaming bloody murder. Bob was. And I can't believe that they did not call anything on this. But he ends the game, right? Beautiful way to do it. I love that he did this. He's had the injury this year. We don't know what it was on, but he goes through. He puts the game away, puts the game on his shoulders. I think he's now tied for OT game-winning goals in a season with Berge. I think that was a stat that the Griffins had shared. Just unbelievable. I'm hoping that, he keeps wearing his lucky shirt with you guys in post game. I don't know.
Oh, he's been chirped for that shirt in the comments so often.
It's so bad. But, this is really, maybe this is his back to coming out party, right? Like last year he had that heater and then he got injured. He came back and he put the team back on his shoulders, and now you kind of see it again. You got Leonard out, you've got Tralmaks is out, and he's here, putting the team on his shoulders and competing.
Yeah, it's just a really good weekend overall, or week, I should say, not just weekend, because Wednesday's game, he didn't have a point, but that's the best game I've ever seen Amadeus Lombardi play without getting a point in it. Just how he was able to take over games, even after, like we've joked several times, taking a puck to the face. He joked about it after the game Friday, and you can see him still joking about it because Bob put him through his 4th post game in a row after Saturday night's game. I mean, it's just unreal to see what this kid's been able to do. And you're like, okay, like as he's come back from injury, is he back? Is this pre-injury Amadeus Lombardi? Is this the Amadeus Lombardi we saw just take over in the second half of last season when he came back? Who knows? But at the same time, we're loving what we're seeing. And in this game overall, like, especially against a team like Milwaukee, you love to see the not tough guy just come out there and be the tough guy and take it over, especially getting hacked at by LaRue like that too. So lovely game from him. Love seeing Doucette get on the score sheet too. We just want to see him continue to be on the score sheet more frequently. It always seems as he might move up the lineup, whether the lineup's real or not, because they're 11-7, but at the same time, when he gets to, play with different players that aren't his 4th line teammates down there, you see him score more, but you just hope you can get that to convert to that 4th line play. That's what we really want to see. But overall, just this game, when you look at it, it shouldn't even have gone to overtime, right? There's a goal that got called back, and you're like, what is goalie interference anymore? Like, I've reviewed this replay several times, and I go, where is the goalie interference? I'm not going to go on an officiating rant. I'm not going to do it, I promise. But at the same time, nobody knows what it is anymore.
Yeah, the rest kept us a close game until overtime. Just that was frustrating, right? That call was missed or that call was reversed, and then you get the hack, right? And like we said earlier, like these are times that before Waddy, the game would have got out of control, right? But since Waddy has been here, they play with emotion. What is it? Damn, I had it.
They play with emotion, not emotional.
Yeah, that's I was teeing you up there, Brandon. So it's good to see, right? And they responded, right? They didn't to let it deflate their tires in this game, and they just kind of came back and Raklovsky with a nice little move around his defenseman, and he puts the goal in. So they just continue to battle. And that's what's important. That's what's going to continue to keep this team moving in the right direction, is to continue to battle, right?
Yeah, 100%. You've got to keep battling. You've got to keep fighting. And not every game is going to be a 10-1 win. You're going to have games like this. You're going to have stretches like this. We have multiple overtime games. You just got to find a way to win. And it's so good to see the Griffins continue to find a way to win, because now they're on a 6-game winning streak. It started with the one win right before the All-Star break, and ever since then, they haven't looked back. And sure, you want to secure the games before overtime, but again, you battle and find a way. And that's what we love about this team. And it's such a crucial time of year, because when you look at this stretch overall compared to last year, we're talking two very different teams, two very different results. This point of the season last year was just frustrating. So to see what they're doing now as they head into March, it's a beautiful thing. And to still say that, like, we've got a lot more home games still. You look at this week, all 3 games are at home. You got a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday again, where they just continue to put on a show for these home crowds that are showing up now. The arena's been more full most nights except for Wednesday, but they lost the last Wednesday, so the winning Wednesday tickets disappeared and got to start over. But you look at the weekend, I mean, the place was packed on Friday night. We hope to see it packed and loud again this week, because that place is more fun when the fans are into it and they're all going, because like the crowd cheering when Ammo was like, no, I'm staying on the ice Friday. You're like, they're into it finally. They woke up and the crowd was in it for the rest of the game. And that's what you want to see every night. So really happy with the results. Really happy to see a 6-game win streak come back to us. And I don't know. Let's see how many games they can get again. They've tried to go for the franchise record once this season. Can we do it again and actually achieve it this time instead of just tying it? That'd be sweet, but that would also be just insane when you look at the remaining schedule to pull that off. But that's really the final thoughts for, individuals and the games this weekend, but just final thoughts for the whole week overall is just battles. But it's nice when you look at this too, because if you didn't know, Coach Watson breaks down the season into 5-game segments. And the Griffins started this segment coming out of the All-Star break. We've got 5 games since then, and they clearly won the 5-game segment. But there's other stats that go along with that are interesting to call out.
Yeah, so I wanted to do a segment on this, because it is something that they do pay attention to, right? And so we want to start breaking these down, 5-game segments. They played Texas twice. They played Chicago, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. All really good teams right now. I believe, I'd have to double check, maybe check me while I'm going through these, but they are all playoff teams if the playoffs started today. Now Brandon's searching for it.
No, yeah, all Chicago, Milwaukee, yeah, they're all
playoff
technically
teams
in right now.
All battles. And the thing too, it's just like, we didn't win these games 10-0, right? Which is good. Like, you want some adversity, and they were able to overcome that. Now, goals for this 5-game stretch, 18. Goals against, 8. So they were a goal differential 10, which is something that we've seen. They're outscored typically for the beginning of the season, it was like 4-2. But right now it's about 2-1. So it's still pretty good. And you see this. There's tighter games, they're overtime. So this makes sense. One thing that I called back to a couple weeks ago was the first 5 minutes of the game, and then first 5 minutes of the period, and then the last 5 minutes of the period, as I saw a lot of swings of a lot of goals through those 5 games. Now, the first 5 minutes of the period, 5 goals scored, 2 goals allowed. So they're winning those first 5 minutes, which is important, because that's where you want to set the tone. Now, the last 5 minutes of the period, 5 goals scored, 1 goal allowed. So 4. So they're playing a lot better in the first 5 and the last 5. So they have changed that direction, because I didn't feel like that they were before. Now, one thing that we've kind of noticed throughout the season as well is the shots against. They gave up 133 shots against in this 5-game segment, 8 goals allowed. So goaltending is still extremely hot through this 5-game segment, which you kind of expect with Cossa and Posty playing the way they have. This isn't a crazy trend that's going to be popping. Like, that's something that we saw in the beginning of the season. We're like, they can't keep this up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're 50 games in, and they have. Like, their save percentage for goals against is still one of the top in the league. Now, one thing we've noticed too is special teams. Power play, 2 for 14 in this 5-game segment. That's a 14%. Not
well, it
good.
makes sense when how many of those games are at home.
Yeah, and that was one thing Waddy said to Bob, is that they want to play better at home the second half of the season, so we need to see that. Penalty kill, 14 for 17, 82%. Still not bad, a little less than what their season is, but still not bad, right? You're going to take an 82% penalty kill. But the one area to watch, and I mentioned earlier in the episode, there's 17 penalties against in this 5-game segment. So you saw the penalty minutes start creeping up in this. Some of those too were Waddy's 10-minute game misconducts. Some of those were at the end of the games. So a little bit of emotion, right? But something to keep an eye on. Hopefully it doesn't continue to trend on this next 5-game segment. With that, they didn't just win the 5, like they dictated. They outplayed the teams. A lot of those shots that we saw are coming from the outside, and we're okay with giving up shots from the outside, or at the point. So, great 5-game segment. Ready to start another one. I don't know what Waddy's doing to reward these guys with the 5-game segment. I did send Travis a note for Friday's game to ask Waddy, but he didn't get a chance to. I know Pat would be broke at this point if they were doing that because of all the dinners that they have to provide when he does it for Toledo. But yeah, that's kind of our 5-game segment breakdown. I don't know what we'll call it. Maybe, if you're still listening at this point, put it in the comments. Maybe it's Waddy's 5 games. That could be kind of funny.
There you go.
But that's the breakdown for the 5-game segment.
Yeah, it's a really good breakdown. And I like that we're going to start doing that more often to kind of follow what the team, what they're expecting, what they're looking at. And again, to take all 5 games in the segment is just insane. It's a nice way to win it. I mean, we were talking about adding this to the show, I think, Wednesday. And I'm like, well, they've already won the segment. They got 3 wins. So good time to add it, right? Moving on from that, 3 stars of the week for the Grand Rapids Griffins. And I think everyone's going to know who the first star is. Second star might be a guess, but I'm going third star first, and that was Dominic Shine. Look, he had a goal and an assist this week and had that insane 7 points in 3 games. So obviously that's some carryover feelings there from the games before, but obviously you have to give the captain his flowers there. So he's the third star of the week. I gave the second star to Postava. When you look, yes, he only played one of the 3 games, but posted a .95 and a .969 in that game. Just absolutely insane. He's the reason we won that game when you look at it overall, besides obviously who scored the overtime winner. And that guy, of course, is the first star of the week. When you look at Amadeus Lombardi's week, how do you not give him first star? 3 goals, 2 assists, a puck to the face. It's just a great week for him, minus the puck maybe, but at the same time, real week for Lombardi. Those are the 3 stars as I wrote them out for this week. Any disagreement there, sir?
I would have put MBN in the conversation, maybe honorable mention, maybe Doucette in there. But you can't go wrong with, obviously Hamill for first star and then Shiner in there as well. So, yeah, those would be the other 2 guys that deserve some recognition for the week that they had, especially Deuce.
Yeah, it's especially MBN too. Like, it was tough to put Shiner in there over MBN with 2 goals, but at the same time, that 7 points in 3 games is hard to ignore. If you're going just for the week itself, yeah, MBN for sure with those 2 goals there, especially because one of them was a game winner. So you can't really argue against that. Moving on from that, we got an AHL standings update as the playoffs loom closer. It's funny to see the AHL playoff primer already on AHL.com. That's only because the Grand Rapids Griffins are in the position they are in. Literally, they had to create that this early just because the Griffins. That's really funny to see. When you look at the Central Division, obviously our Griffins are leading that 83 points in 50 games played. It's absurd. Absolutely absurd numbers right there. Second place is Chicago at 63 points, so a 20-point separation between first and second. Chicago's got 2 games in hand on Grand Rapids, but at the same time, I don't see them catching the Griffins for first place there anytime soon. In third place, you got the Stars at 52 points, Manitoba in fourth at 51 points, Milwaukee in fifth at 46. So that's where your playoff cutoff is in the Central Division, is that 5th place spot. First team on the outside looking in is Rockford at 42 points. Then Iowa basically eliminated as it stands right now at their 35 points down there with their 15 wins in 49 games. You go to the Pacific Division, the top 3 are Ontario, Colorado, and Bakersfield, with Abbotsford still in last place in that division. You head to the north, you got Laval, Syracuse, and Cleveland in the top 3 there. You go to 4th. In 5th place, it's actually a tie between Toronto and Rochester right now, with Belleville on the outside looking in and Utica holding up the last spot in that division. You go to the Atlantic, Providence still in first place in that one on a 2-game losing streak. So they're still at 77 points. So the Griffins pulled away with their league lead again. They got 1 game in hand on Grand Rapids, but in second place in that division, you got Wilkes-Barre, who's kind of the most games played in almost the league there, just tied with Laval at 53 games played already. They're in second place, Charlotte in third, and Hartford holding up that last spot in that division. Any surprises for you in that?
Providence losing 2 in a row. That's
Yeah.
that is pretty wild. They've been so good this year. Yeah, it's crazy. I feel bad because they've had such a good season. It's like, but we're overshadowing them by only like 2 games. Like it's been so close. So I'm surprised. Is Iowa really eliminated already?
I mean, yes, I
On
don't
paper?
think there's a way they could possibly, catch up in that point. The primer is not on the homepage, so I can't find it. I was trying to actually see if that was correct as it stands right now. It disappeared on me, but at the same time, it's still it's insane that had to appear on the website at the end of February. Like,
Yeah.
we've never talked about a playoff clinching scenario this early before, and we're looking at Wednesday now. If the Griffins do clinch, it'll be the earliest they've ever done it in franchise history. That's just how insane this year's team is. But no, we'll get a further update if Iowa is actually eliminated next week. I'll find that for you guys and actually pull that up. But outside of that, I've got nothing else to add to this week's show. I don't believe Nick does either.
No, I got nothing else to add. I was just looking at. I was able to pull up the primer. I don't see nobody's eliminated yet.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, but
There you
it
go.
did change. Oh no, the Moose in Milwaukee is still whoever wins that goes against us. So, still kind of a crazy matchup.
Yeah, too early to talk about the matchups, obviously, but at the same time, that is all we have for this week. You look at the Griffins schedule coming up this week. They're home to take on the Manitoba Moose. That should be a fun game. We haven't seen them for a little bit. Then you've got a Friday-Saturday matchup against the Iowa Wild with Nick's favorite theme night on Saturday. I beat him to it this year to say it before he says it's my favorite. But you got Princess Night on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing both of these games, though, both of these opponents, because they usually play this team tough. And when you look at where we're at right now, if we can continue this streak through all 3 of these games, that's a pretty impressive feat to do, because Iowa, whether they suck or not, they play the Griffins very, very, very hard. So it's going to be an interesting matchup this weekend. Excited to see a lot of folks out at the van, hopefully, to get it packed in there, get it loud, and just enjoy 3 more home games. You got 1 more home game to start off March as well for a nice little 4-game home set here before the road trips of March begin. So with that, though, we'll wrap the episode up. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, to another Griffins update. Stay tuned for a Toledo Walleye update later this week as well. With me and Travis, we'll break down a rough road trip up to Quebec for the Toledo Walleye and a big trade that happened today too. So stay tuned for that. Before we go, we got to thank the sponsors of the show, DraftKings and Everything Hockey Clothing Company. When you're betting with DraftKings, use code THPN. And when you're shopping at everythinghockey.com, use code WEST to save a few bucks off your order. We also got to thank our lovely Patreon subscribers as well. If you want to join these folks, head over to patreon.com/Hockeytown West Podcast, where you get unedited episodes. This one's a doozy, I'll tell you right now. And you get bonus content and all that fun stuff. And you automatically get entered into every giveaway we do. And giveaway season is coming up. I see a couple of them looming behind Nick over there in the corner. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a little hint for you. But at the same time, we're not giving away your jerseys. No, not those. Don't worry. But we got to thank those Patreon subscribers. Nick, who are they?
It's Michael Asante, Alan and Lori Fausch, Derek Sleazer, Griffin Not From GR, Elaine Grace, John in Florida, Tyler Ingalls, D-Boss is D-Boss, Joe Schroeder, Peter Grell, Darren Swartz, Zach, and we have 2 new Patreons. We have Bert Rito and Alan and GR.
Thank you all for the love and support. We were able to welcome those ones last week on Toledo, but Nick doesn't know what a Toledo episode is. But I'm glad we can welcome him again on a Griffins episode. Thank you guys for joining. We appreciate it. Until we talk again next week for the Griffins. And like I said, this week later on, probably Thursday or Friday for a Toledo show. Until we talk again, go Griffins, go Walleye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your hosts, Nick at GR Hockey Guy, Brandon at Brandon GR Hockey, and Travis at Trav in T-Town.
Oh, he didn't yell it this time. It's beautiful.
I tried. I was going to.